Every Siege player has said it. Bro, I'm so unlucky. You get wallbanged through a soft wall. A defender swings the exact second you stop holding an angle. Your teammate dies in the first 15 seconds. You lose a round because someone made the dumbest play imaginable and somehow it worked. And after enough of those moments, it is easy to start believing that Rainbow Six Siege is just luck. But if Siege is mostly luck, then why do champions consistently hit champion? Why do pros stay pros? Why do some players climb every season while others stay stuck for years? Today we are answering one of the biggest questions in Rainbow Six Siege. How much of Siege is actually luck, and how much is skill? We'll cover everything from casual players all the way to professional players, break down the mathematics behind luck, and most importantly, how to stop getting unlucky and start winning more consistently. Even is luck? Before we can answer the question, we need to define luck. Luck is anything outside your control. Things like random wallbangs, bad teammates, someone pre-firing a weird angle, getting recoil headshotted, looking away at the exact wrong moment, unexpected runouts, getting matched against a smurf or a cheater, an enemy making a terrible play that somehow works. Skill is everything you can control. Things like aim, positioning, communication, droning, utility usage, decision making, crosshair placement, map knowledge, and time management. And here's where most players get confused. They remember every unlucky death, but they forget every smart decision that saved them. Nobody remembers the drone that prevented a death. Nobody remembers the rotate that saved the round. Nobody remembers the camera that spotted a flank. But everyone remembers getting wallbanged once. Math of luck. Let's use a simple example. Imagine flipping a coin. One flip, completely random. 10 flips, still pretty random. 10,000 flips, not random anymore. Eventually, the results get closer and closer to 50% heads and 50% tails. Siege works the same way. One gunfight, luck matters. One round, luck matters. One game, luck matters a little. 100 games, skill starts dominating. 500 games, luck barely matters. This is why rank exists. If Siege was mostly luck, everybody would eventually hit champion. But they don't. The same players consistently climb. The same players consistently stay stuck. Luck affects moments. Skill affects long-term results. Start off with casual players. Rough estimate, 50-50. Casual is pure chaos. Nobody knows what's happening. Nobody drones. Nobody communicates. Nobody has a plan. You have players hiding in ridiculous locations. People reinforcing random walls. Players running around the map for no reason. And because nobody understands what's happening, randomness becomes a massive factor. The strange thing is that bad players become harder to predict. They're not following logic. They're not following strategy. They're just doing things. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Casual is basically controlled chaos. Ranks copper to silver. Rough estimate. 45% luck, 55% skill. This is where many players start taking the game seriously. But there's still a huge problem. Most players don't understand risk. They don't understand probability. They don't understand information. They swing everything. They challenge everything. They take gunfights they don't need to take. A lot of lower ranked players think they're getting unlucky. In reality, they're constantly putting themselves into situations where luck decides the outcome. Think about it. If you sprint into sight without droning and take a gunfight with no information, that's basically gambling. You're leaving the outcome up to chance. The biggest reason lower ranks feel unlucky is because players create situations where luck matters. Ranks gold to emerald. 25% luck, 75% skill. This is where Siege starts becoming actual Siege. Players understand common setups, utility, rotations, basic teamwork, and map control. Most players can aim reasonably well. Most players know what they're supposed to do. Now the game becomes less about mechanics and more about consistency. And this is where a lot of players hit a wall, because they still rely on chance. They don't drone enough. They take unnecessary fights. They overpeak. They ego challenge. The difference between gold and emerald often isn't aim. It's reducing the number of situations where luck can decide the outcome. Better players create favorable fights. Worse players take whatever fight appears in front of them. 15% luck, 85% skill. Diamond is where excuses start disappearing. At this level, everybody can aim, everybody knows the maps, everybody understands utility, everybody knows common strategies. The skill gap becomes much smaller mechanically. Now the difference comes from information, discipline, positioning, timing, and adaptation. Diamond players won't necessarily win because they have better aim. They win because they consistently make better decisions. When luck enters the equation, they've already stacked the odds in their favor. Instead of taking a 50-50 fight, they're taking a 70-30 fight. Instead of guessing, they're droning. Instead of hoping, they're gathering information. And over hundreds of matches, those small advantages become huge. Champion. 10% luck, 90% skill. This is where most players completely misunderstand the game. Champions often look lucky. They always seem to have timing. They always know where people are. They always seem to make the right play. But that's because most people only see the final result. They don't see the preparation, the drones, the cameras, the sound cues, the map control, the information gathering. A champion player isn't guessing most of the time. They're making educated decisions based on dozens of tiny pieces of information. What looks like luck is usually knowledge. What looks like intuition is usually experience. What looks like perfect timing is usually prediction. Luck still exists, but it's far less influential than people think. Amateur and semi-pro players. 8% luck, 92% skill. This is where teams start actively removing randomness from the game. Every execute has a purpose. Every drone has a purpose. Every piece of utility has a purpose. Teams create systems designed to eliminate uncertainty. Instead of asking, where could he be? They're asking, which one of these two locations is he probably in? Instead of hoping something works, they gather information until the odds heavily favor them. The better the team becomes, the less room luck has to influence rounds. Professional players. 5% luck, 95% skill. At the professional level, players spend their entire careers reducing uncertainty. Every round is built around information. Every execute is practiced. Every strategy is reviewed. Every mistake is analyzed. This doesn't mean luck disappears. Pros still get wallbanged. Pros still get bad timing. Pros still get unfortunate deaths. The difference is that luck rarely decides entire matches. Over the course of a full tournament, the better team almost always wins. Because professional Siege isn't about reacting to randomness. It's about controlling as many variables as possible. The biggest luck myth in Siege. Bad timing. Everyone knows this situation. You hold an angle for 30 seconds, nothing happens. The second you look away, the enemy swings. It feels impossible. It feels like the game hates you. But mathematically, this is completely normal. If somebody has 30 seconds worth of opportunities to peek you, eventually one of those opportunities will line up with the exact second you stop watching. The reason it feels special is because your brain remembers failures far more than successes. You forget all the times nobody peeked. You remember the one time they did. How to get luckier. The funny thing about Siege is that the luckiest players usually aren't lucky. They're prepared. Here's how to become one of them. Drone more. Every drone removes uncertainty. Less uncertainty means less luck. Stop taking 50-50 gunfights. If a fight could go either way, you're gambling. Use utility. Use teammates. Create crossfires. Force favorable fights. Use information. Cameras, sound cues, callouts, pings. Information turns guesses into decisions. Think ahead. Have a backup plan, then another backup plan. The more prepared you are, the less randomness can hurt you. So how much of Rainbow Six Siege is actually luck? Casual, 50-50. Copper to silver, 45-55. Gold to emerald, 25-75. Diamond, 15-85. Champion, 10-90. Amateur semi-pro, 8-92. Professional, 5-95. The higher you climb, the less luck matters. Not because the game changes, because better players stop leaving things up to chance. And that's the real secret. The best Siege players aren't luckier than everyone else. They're just better at making sure luck doesn't get a vote. So, the next time you die and immediately think, man, I'm so unlucky, ask yourself one question. Did I actually get unlucky? Or did I put myself in a position where luck could decide the outcome? Because the fastest way to improve at Rainbow Six Siege isn't getting better aim. It's making fewer decisions that leave your success up to chance. I'm Sikazura. Make sure to subscribe.
Think I need a break, don't care how long it takes. You know I hate the way you make me feel so dark. You really put my heart, you open up my scars.